Are you allergic that bad? That sucks. Ugh, guys, another fun update. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god, really, really, really fun update. Oh my god. So I finally got to go to the allergist yesterday. I had an early appointment. My dad was so proud of me. I woke up on my own and actually went to the doctor by myself. Normally, I force that man to go literally everywhere with me because I don't like going to the doctor by myself. It's so boring. And so he was busy, so he couldn't go with me. So then I had to go by myself, and yeah, he's very proud. And it wasn't even guys, I used to drive so much more back when I was a teen because, you know, freedom, you finally get to drive places. Now I'm just so comfy at home. Why bother unless I have to go outside? But I'm driving for a half hour or so to go to this doctor. And for the first time in so long, I was brought back to the olden days where I was driving for long periods of time, or I'd be in class waiting for class to end. I just started daydreaming. And I had this crazy daydream that I started an indie rock band with Billie Eilish, Clairo, and Biba Doobie, and we were all masked singers. It was a great time. But we make it over. Well, I make it over to the doctor, and first of all, I humbled myself. The doctor comes in. No, it's the nurse at this point. And it's so interesting at this, when you go to get your allergy tests or stuff, like your consultation to figure out what to do with your allergies, you have to do these tests. Because they looked in the records and saw that I had asthma. So they need to do tests to figure out where my asthma is at, which I've never done before because I don't know why I never did that. Maybe that would have been a good idea to do. I've not done that. And so this is the first time I'm doing these tests just to see how my lungs are. And guys, it's a fucking video game thing, this device that she gave me with this little... It's this mini game. You know Flappy Bird, how you have to keep the Flappy Bird in between the pipes? It's like that, but instead of tapping, you have to keep your breathing consistent. She says, okay, Numi, I'm gonna need you to try to keep this girl with the balloon floating in between these two lines. I'm like, okay. I did it wrong like 3 to 4 times in a row. The first time, I was looking at the sun and not the girl holding a balloon. I was like, oh. And she said, no, it's okay, we could try it again. Second time, I tried to start, and then I'm like, and then she just dies. And I'm like, oh! And she's like, oh, it's okay, we could do it again. I tried again. This time, I was like, too much. And she flies up into the air and just dies again. And then at that point, I started getting so mad. I started raging. I was like, why is this so hard? Why is this so hard? I'm so sorry. I'm like this. And she said, oh, it's okay. No, it's okay. You just need to do it like this. You can do it. I believe in you. Oh my God. And then I finally figured it out. And then she makes me do another test where you have to put your mouth on a mouthpiece and just go as long as you can before you run out of air on this little pipe thingy going like, whoo. I tried, but I didn't have my mouth over it. And she's like, no, your whole mouth over it. I was like, oh, right. And then I try again, but at this point, I'm already breathing in. She's like, no, just breathe on it. Oh my God. I had to bow. Formal apology to this poor woman. Grown-ass adult can't even do this right. Oh my God. But we finally made it through. And then the actual allergist comes in. She said, hi, Numi. Like, I hope you're having a good time. Tell me about these allergies. She's making you do a breathalyzer. I've never done one of those, so I couldn't tell ya. Could not tell ya. Got to seal the lips on you know what? I just misunderstood is all. Then we go, hey girl, hey. And so I'm telling her about my allergies, and she said, okay, let me take a look at your nostrils and then your lungs. First thing, she gets the little light, I don't know the term for it, but the thing to look up my nostrils. Mind you, I come into this allergist feeling fine. Yes, he was that. Oh my God, it was that. Yeah. She used the otoscope to look up my nostrils. Okay, mind you, I feel fine when I go in here. So I was confused on why she was checking all of this. I was like, why? What? I'm not sick. I'm not having an allergic reaction or anything. That's weird. And so she looks up my nose with the otoscope, and then she said, yep. Yeah, I see. I'm like, oh, what? What? And I'm healthy or whatever. And she's like, your nostrils, they're like pale. They're like white almost. They're like a pale white. And I'm like, excuse, what? what does that mean? What does that mean? And then she said that it means that I'm having a constant allergic reaction. And it's so bad that the inside of my nostrils are irritated and white. She said that the inside of my nostrils were white, which meant that I've just constantly been having allergic reactions to everything outside that's been triggering it. And I said, oh, that's crazy because I don't feel anything. Like, I feel fine. I feel completely normal and fine. And she said, yeah, that's just because it's been happening for so long. You're used to it and it doesn't even faze you anymore. And I was like, oh, right, okay, wow, well, that's fun. Love that. Then she started asking a little bit more after she checked my lungs, and they were okay at the moment. They were fine. And I was telling her, yeah, I saw that in my, results that it was saying like this amount for the cats and this amount for like mold and dust and stuff. And she said, yeah, so those aren't as much a gauge to show how allergic you are. It's more to say that, yes, you are definitely very allergic to these things, which I can probably confirm for you right now that you are definitely allergic to this and this. And I'm like, yeah, I figured because I react to that. She said, yeah. And I'm like, right. And she said, yeah, so there's a couple different avenues that we can take because, yeah, you are definitely allergic to dust and just mold. And it's not just mold in foods and stuff. It's just natural molds that are on the planet, just going outside, and there could be like good molds or bad molds, that shit like that for plants and whatever the fuck. But she's like, yeah, so one thing you can do is try your best to avoid those things, which is yeah, you're allergic to grass, this specific grass that comes out in the summertime, also this specific stuff that's out in the springtime, this in the summer, this in the autumn, and this in the winter. So, to help, maybe when you're indoors, close a window. Me looking at her knowing that all my windows are always closed. And then she said, yeah, maybe avoid animals that could trigger your allergies and things like that. Just basically the things that I already do. I'm doing these things and I still react the way that I do, meaning, okay, yeah, no, this is definitely a problem. And then she said, another thing that I could do is like this kind of pill that can help with molds and dust. But the problem here is that you're mainly needing to tackle dust and animals. I'm like, yeah, right. I had the same conversation with an allergist almost 10 years ago. Yeah, I feel like it's the same kind of conversation every time. And then she says, yeah, the other thing that we can do are the shots, which is what I was wanting to do.
1 million air purifiers helps a surprising amount.
Yeah, if you're somebody that's not me. Because that doesn't work either. Asking me how to, like, she'd be asking me and giving me advice on ways to deal with allergies like this, as if I haven't lived my whole life dealing with these allergies and trying these methods. Like, girl, please. Like, I think this is the only route left for me. And she said, yes, so we can give you these shots, but it's only it's not a cure. It basically helps clear it 50 to 60%, which for people like me, definitely worth it because apparently I can't even touch grass. Yeah, we were talking about that, and she said, okay, I already had a general gist of how frequently I would need to get these shots because my uncle, he had worse allergies than me, and did the treatment, and now he has 8 cats. He used to literally be like me where he he couldn't even live normally and had to get years of shots and stuff. So I already knew something like that would be something I would have to do, but I didn't know it was, oh my God. She said, so basically we do shots at this time and this time for you to get better. First of all, you're probably gonna have to take one Zyrtec every single day, as well as this nasal pump that I'm gonna give you every single day, and you have to do it every day for 1 whole month to actually see a difference. Otherwise, you're gonna have to start all over. You can't miss a single day. I'm like, right. And then afterwards, I have to get shots. She said for the first 6 months, because it's a smaller dosage, because if they were to give too much, it would obviously cause an allergic reaction that could kill me. They have to give you little amounts first, once a week, for 6 months. And then afterwards, it's like once a month or so, once every couple of weeks to a month for 3 to 5 years. And if you miss too much time in between, you have to do it all over again. Yeah, it's basically exposure therapy.
Did you ask them whether they had to give the shots, or is it a self-injection?
They give you the shots, but if there's an allergic reaction, you have to bring your EpiPen too. They have stuff there, but if you have yours, it's a just in case too, if like to stab yourself in the leg. All that for some kitties. No, it's not just for cats. Remember, I'm allergic to the outside world. Yeah, 3 to 5 years is nothing in the long run, and then you're allergy free. All that matters is once you get into that rhythm, then you're good. And I told her though that sometimes I do travel for like a week or so, and she's like, well, that's fine. But it can't be too long between the periods, because if you're out of the country or something for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, they'll just give you the dosage from the time before you left and then afterwards too. So you just like lose a week of progress or something. But yeah, message my group chat. I'm like, damn, I better get my ass ate after this shit, because of all of my friends that have cats begging me to go to their house, and I say I can't because of my fucking allergies, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll get my fucking allergy shots. I better get my ass ate. You better eat my ass after this shit with what I'm about to go through for 3 to 5 fucking years.
That's what you get from not touching grass for a long time, Naimuno.
Bro, I was bored with this shit. I've always been allergic to the world. Are you sure you're allergic to cats and not just the spores? Yes, this is going off of the blood work that I got. And then I thought that, I did blood work 2 times to check what I was allergic to. Apparently those were general tests that they ran. So that's just in general what I'm allergic to. She said, yeah, before I can give you the okay to get the shots, I have to do more blood work, just so that we can see specifically what else you are allergic to outside of the general things. I'm like, oh, there's more, right. So after that, I had to go downstairs, I had to go into a different room for blood work. And I am somebody who doesn't really mind shots. I don't really care. It's like whatever. But I don't like blood work because you feel a little icky afterwards. I always just feel sad. I just be frowning after, because it's an uncomfortable time. They take your blood, They take your blood. And I told the woman, I'm like, I'm sorry. I just can't look. I just feel so uneasy. And she said, girl, it's okay. Like, I got you. I'm like, thanks, girl. And then I'm in the car getting ready to drive home, and I'm sad because I got my blood drawn. And so, of course, I tried to call my emotional support parent, my father, and bro didn't answer me because he's selfish. And then half of my drive was me frowning. And then he finally called back. And I was like, I can't believe you just left your daughter to die like that. He was like, what? And I said, you're so selfish. I can't believe you do that. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, I got my blood drawn and you didn't answer. He was like, I was in the garage just grabbing stuff out of the garage, and there's no connection in the garage. I'm like, that's what they all say. That's what they all say. That's crazy. Like, I cannot believe that.
It really puts all that travel over the years into perspective. You've really been flying around the world multiple times a year, while every single particle you come into contact with wants to smoke. That's truly insane.
Bro, it's like anytime I go outside, spores and whatever just materialize into people, and then they just start beating me and throwing me into a bush. There's never a moment of safety, bro. I always knew my allergies were pretty bad, but I guess I didn't think about how horrible they were because I've just grown used to it. Like, can you believe the fact that I experienced shit so bad? Like, I didn't even realize that my breathing out of my right nostril isn't as good as my left nostril because it's so fucked up. Like, oh my god, wow. I just thought that was just how my nose was. I just thought that was just maybe I could breathe a little better through my left nostril. We almost lost you at Coachella. I did tell her about that. She was like, I said, yeah, there was 3 times that I almost died from this, and those were 2 of them just in the last year, which is telling me I think I'm getting way more allergic to the world. That's when she said, yeah, we need to do this blood work and see what else you're allergic to. And then I'm gonna get my results, and it's gonna say everything